Make it a better place, a better place.
Be able to work together to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Let's arise and build, arise and build, arise and build our Bible to the next level.
The world of today is different from yesterday.
I'm running my own company. I use Nigeria.
Industrialization is a practical process. We want you to invest in the company.
There are very little things you can do and achieve so much. So just mentor them.
To build this nation, it's by thinking differently. It's by reasoning together. It's by working together as one.
So there's you must innovate or die.
Come to our fight mistakes. Tell each other the truth.
I am ready to be part.
Let's arise and reason together. To build a new and better Bible, and greater Nigeria and Africa and life. That's what podium of leadership is all about. Let's arise and build a better place. Arise and build a better place. Arise and build a Bible to the next level. A better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome your host to the podium of leadership, Dr. Victor Udo.
Welcome to the podium of leadership. Today we are going to continue on our discussion on establishing and sustaining, developing and sustaining the right business culture. Last discussion was excellent. We have the gurus here. You know, I thought it was only in politics that we hear consolidation and continuity. Even at the great University of Uyo, it seems like you've convinced me now to use the word great University of Uyo. I mean, this is something we should be very proud of, you know, and that's why, you know, when we were talking about continuation and consolidation, I knew that was what was lacking, and that's what is lacking in Nigeria. But I'm very proud today to be associated with these two prof, the former dean of business faculty in University of Uyo, sitting with the current dean, and they're working together. It's unheard of. In the past, it used to be the outgoing, I don't even know. Okay, pardon me if I'm mistaken. The former VC and the present PC will not even communicate. Not talking about University of Uyo, talking about another university somewhere in America and England. But there is need for continuity. Yes. Or two governors can't even talk because this one is taking over from this one. Where is the continuity? Where is the consolidation? The same thing happened in business. I can't even talk about family, where brothers and sisters will fight over and kill themselves over a piece of land. But here we have two learned, two educated people. One spotted the other and brought him in and handed over to him. And it seems to me that's what was done in the government also. And we need to encourage where we see the right things. Continuity and consolidation. So, Prof, thank you very much for coming to continue and consolidate what you started at the podium. So, we're going to continue and consolidate on the discussion on developing, establishing, and sustaining business culture. The last time we were talking about, they showed you how we don't need to depend. They went to England and America, had nothing, and they started something. Because I know many people in Kwaibom in Nigeria are saying, I don't have something to start. But if people went to America, had nothing going there, and they started business there, I don't see why we can't start business in our own country, where there are plenty of resources. We have the best soil in the country, in the world. Akwa Ibom Ibom State. It's got to be the best because it belongs to Akwa Ibom. We have you. Those of you listening to me on the radio, you are an Akwa Ibom person. You're in Nigeria, or watching on the TV. You've got something inside. So start something. Start business. Create jobs. Don't wait for government. And then the second theme that came in was this notion of insuring. And we had a two-prong. One prof said, yes, insurance, you need it because business will fail. As a matter of fact, one of the profs said that 90% of the businesses that start fail. 90%. And I decree to you today, prophesy to you, you are not going to be part of that 90%. You're going to be part of the 10% that will succeed. The business will succeed. But it's not going to succeed by fire. It's going to succeed by using the right principles, by getting an insurance. Because things will happen. The American will say stuff happens. Stuff would happen to your business. Your plan is not going to go. You know, when I was in corporate America, and probably I also was in the corporate America, what we said is when we plan, we know the plan is going to fail anyway. But if you fail to plan, you've already failed. I don't know if you understand what I was saying there. Your plan is going to fail anyway, but you have to plan. Because if you fail to plan, you've already failed. And so insurance is something you have to integrate into your business plan. That some of these assumptions, because a business plan is based on assumptions, that some of these assumptions is not going to pan out. So if it doesn't pan out, what is my insurance? What is my fallback? And then we also talk about our parents who were smart enough. You know, in those days, they didn't even know who a professor was. They didn't even know what professor means. I was in there when the first female professor in my village or in my town had a Thanksgiving. The priest said, "Do you know how they call professor in our language?" And everybody was like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" It was only the priest that could tell us. You want to take a guess? Or you want me to guess it out? He said, the professor in our language is what? A prof. It's a prof. So our grandparents did not even know what a prof was. If they knew, they would have coined a word for it. And so they invented their insurance. And their insurance was get many children. Because when you die, they will bury you. It worked. But it's not going to work again today. You can't marry. I mean, there was a man in one place in Sianudim that I was told. The day he goes to do to harvest his palm front and his children go with him, that day there was no school because the man literally owned the whole school. That's so many of them. That's not going to work anymore. That's not going to work anymore. So you got to use what the modern world is saying, which is insurance. And it's not children. But then the prof said, even in the modern prof said, there is an insurance in children too, that's called investing on those children. So if you are listening to me, I mean, I know, and my grandfather is no more alive, so I can hear of him. In their age, they wouldn't send their female children to school. They didn't. My mom could have been a prof. But they didn't send her to school because she was a woman with the whole notion that so if you are listening to me, maybe you don't know if you see or not. No, I can't find it. I thought you guys would say yes. Whether it's a male or a female, send them to school. Send them to school. So today we are going to continue the discussion on continuity, consolidation of our businesses. And the gurus, the two most important, I mean, you guys, you are the one who said it, the great university. The great university in Nigeria, the two great professors in the great university are here. So let's talk with them. Whatever question you have in mind that we didn't finish, raise it and they're here to answer. Let me take it from, last time was a girl, so let's take from a guy.
Thank you very much. Prof, you have discussed about the business culture in the United States of America and that of Nigeria. But my question is, why do we like comparing Nigeria to the United States of America? Because it is like comparing a poor man, as in a poor man's son to that of the rich man. Because let me take you to political aspect. In the United States of America, they are practicing presidential system of government. And likewise, Nigeria, we are also practicing presidential system of government.
But you are comparing though. Isn't that a comparison you're asking us not to compare?
No, wait. But let me land.
Land now.
In United
you have a landing fee.
But in the United States of America, that system is perfectly working. There is nothing like political crisis. But if you come to Nigeria, we encounter political crisis every day. tribe crisis, all those sort of things. But Prof, what I want you to do is to differentiate between the Nigerian culture and that of United States of America, so that we will know the right direction to channel some things to.
That's a very good one. So, Prof, help us to compare and contrast. Why do things work there and they don't work here? And to his point, why do we always have to use them as a standard?
As a benchmark. Thank you very much for that question. There's two ways to compare things. You can compare positively or negatively. Let's say you took an exam as a student and you made 70%. And I asked you, did you do well? You say yes. And I say, why? You say, another student did 40%. That's comparison. Now, you refuse to compare yourself with the one that scored 90%. So, naturally, human beings try to compare themselves backwardly. You call it negative comparison. That makes you look better. But if you want to strive, just like we said earlier, you want to be something better tomorrow, you must always strive to compare with yourself with something that is better than you. Everything United States does doesn't mean everything is good. We've mentioned something like social security system where they pay you and you sit at home and watch TV, and we try to practice it. And I'm not quite sure we are ready for that. So we're not saying that United States is the ultimate, but where we're trying to get to is something that we can see that has been achieved in the United States. Yes, culturally, demographically, different tribes, could create some different challenges, but those challenges are the same everywhere. I'm from Akwa Ibom, and I have somebody from Zamfara State, okay? And we are working in the Federal Ministry of whatever. Until we stop looking at ourselves as different people and Nigerians, we'll have problems. In the United States, it's different. You come from California or you come from Florida. In Florida, you have a lot of ethnic group, like the Hispanic, concentrated there. Similarly, in the California, it's close to the Asian. You have a lot of Asian people in California. But when they discuss United States problem, they forget about that. So you can see that they have the same problem like we do, but they look at things differently. So the comparison is not a bad one. It's to encourage us. Let me just add. Would you prefer, think about it, Cameroon is our next door neighbor. Ghana is a couple of countries to our right. If we compare ourselves with Ghana and Cameroon, right, you think we're better off than they are? No. So, comparison is good.
Prof, do you want to chime into that?
I just want to add one quick thing. That is to say, first-class materials attract first-class materials. But second-class materials attract third class. You know why? No, sir. He that is down needs fear no fall. You don't have to fear any fall. You are done already. If you have a first class and the other man has a first class, are you scared of him? No. No. But if you have a second class, who are you scared of? The first class. First class. Who can you dominate? The third class. The third class. That's why you go there.
Okay. Question from a lady.
Thank you, Doctor. I must say I'm honored that the two gurus are addressing us today. First of all, Doctor, you will talk about why you asked why UNIO is so great. I would like to say, as a material of that great university.
Are you great? Are you going to say you are great?
When I had a vision, my uncles were like, "Wow, welcome to the prestigious university." I was like, "Wow, what's really there?" So UNIO is great because it attracts the best.
Like you.
And you bring out the best. And that's why it's great. In addition to what our prof there said. Like our prof here, he was attracted to it because it was the best. And they made the best out of his best.
Yeah.
And they send him out as the best. So you see, Unio remains great. So back to my question. We've talked about insurance. I've heard some terminologies I'm not used to. Like, I don't know if it was pronounced laws, or Louis. So please, I'd like to beg, please, we come down a little bit to the layman's terminology when we explain these things. And the second thing I would rather is, I don't really still know what insurance is all about. Like, if I go home now, I can tell somebody, we talk about insurance, and it's this ABC. I don't know what it is I'm standing, so I would love to know what it really is. The next question, I think the big one, I'm really appreciative. Thank you, Doctor, for giving me this opportunity. It's a question that has been on my mind for a while. We talk about education, and every time I think education, I think anything, I see the private and the public worlds. If I'm not mistaken, sir, with your achievements, you've reached the rank where you both contribute to shaping our curriculum. And yet, we have gurus like you who give us what we learn in school, and we still come out and be termed unemployable graduates. When we study,
even from great
from my great
we still
we study what you've given us to study.
What makes you unemployable?
What then makes us
Good question.
Is it that it was, should I say, systematically programmed for us to come out and be addressed so? Or was there something lacking? Or is it because we were not incorporated into the shaping of our curriculum?
That's a very good point, because I want the profs to ask that, especially him, and him also. He has taught already in a private university and is back to a public university. He was in the public and going to private. Because what I heard, and you are right, no matter how great, if you go to Nzuka is lion, and all of that, we are still producing unemployable graduates. What is going on?
And it is the same people who give us the curriculum that still end up calling us these names.
And is it only the public graduates are unemployable, or does that extend to the private universities also?
It's both, but there's a preferential treatment when it comes to those that come from private universities.
So they are more employable, is what you are saying?
Yes, they give them that.
Let's give it to the prof.
To round up my question, please, because I may not have another opportunity. What can be done to boost the public schools? Because I see this thing like a competition between the private and the public. The private will always want to have the upper hand, because if you look at the owners of the private schools, they are the, let me use this a common Nigerian word, the movers of the society. And they'll do anything, even to terminate in totality the public schools to keep making their profit, or to keep taking the best materials. Like him, he's been taking from us. Though we have another person in the prison, but I doubt if he too will not be taken from us in the next few years.
They actually come from a...
He actually came, and we appreciate him. We want to have him more, just like we needed him more, but they've taken him out. And soon, they want to take him out too from us.
All right,
so what can be done to make the public schools enticing in order to retain what we have and make our product compatible anywhere?
Please.
Thank you, Doctor. Let me begin this way. What's your name, darling?
Sarafina, sir.
Sarafina. Sarafina is the greatest proof
of the greatness
that
of
she
New York.
is from a great university of New York. First of all, there is something in communication. And my dear, you communicated well. I appreciate you. 3 fantastic questions. What is wrong? Number 1, what is wrong with the public universities? Why do you develop the curriculum, teach, graduate the students, and then give them a name that makes the entire process ridiculous? Second question, I have no idea what insurance is. And the third question, Lloyds. It is actually pronounced Lloyds. L, capital L, small l, O-Y-D-S. And Lloyds of London It's a company. It's the name of the company. But they've grown so big that they control the entire maritime industry as far as insurance is concerned. Anyone who wishes to insure any ocean moving vessel must be listed on Lloyd's list. That is the grandfather, the grandmother of maritime insurance, Lloyd's of London. Now, what is insurance? Insurance simply means every one of us pulling resources together, bit by bit, within certain boundaries that allows each one of us to benefit from that pooled resources in the event that something goes wrong with one person. And so the model we give in school is insurance is you have to bring, first, let's take a look at your risk, and then give you a contract between you and the insurance company, where the insurance company indemnifies you. You, in turn, will contribute a token so that in the event of a crisis, they will now come in and take care of you. Let me give you a clear example. You buy a car. The car is worth 3 million naira. And there are several categories of insurance, car insurance. There will be the one that the government says you must have because somebody must be protected from a crazy driver. The government says every driver must own an insurance cover. What the insurance cover does is not to protect the vehicle, the compulsory insurance. It doesn't protect the vehicle. It does not protect the owner, but protects you and I on the street. The other vehicle on the road, the person walking around, the lady who owns the mama put joint. So if you run into any of them, the compulsory motor vehicle insurance that you must have by law covers those people. But then you can elevate your game and say, let me go beyond that. What if I'm driving with my husband and my children and something goes wrong? Maybe we crash. And then I must go to the hospital. The hospital bill is very expensive. So you take what they call medical insurance, in addition to also guaranteeing the other people. Again, hypothetically, you're driving. You have a puncture at high speed. Your vehicle somersaults. Not only does it somersault, but skips the gully and hits a third person. First of all, your insurance cover would cover that person. But because you also took medical coverage, it covers you and the entire members of that car in hospital. And so you are not just obeying the law, but also protecting your family. Similarly, when you decide to go and say, let me take life insurance, I know everyone says God is the one that insures me. God insures everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you die, does God give you any money to take care of your family?
Yes.
He does. I don't know how he does that, but man from heaven, yes. But I know that if you insure your life, all you're doing is, let me pay 100 naira per month and take a 1 million naira cover indefinitely. I'll go to the insurance company and say, I want to take a life insurance cover for 1 million, for 10 million. It doesn't matter how much. They now say to you, remember I said insurance is a contract, isn't it? Between two parties, the insurance company and the insured, right? Where the insurance company indemnifies the insured in the event of any peril.
Prof, can you explain the indemnify? That's another big thing.
Okay. To indemnify means to say to you, if anything happens to you, I'll give you so much money in return. All right? But because of that guarantee of refund, what do? You make a tiny sacrifice by way of what they call premium. You keep paying small bits every month to keep the insurance alive. Like Professor Obama mentioned, the unfortunate bit is some insurance companies are beginning to behave like the police. Rather than allow you commit an offense which they could very easily say to you, move on. There are some people on the street these days, once you park at the wrong place, instead of asking you to move, they jump on you and tow your car. The insurance companies, some of them, would actually allow your premium to lapse. You have not paid for this month, you've not paid for next month, they cancel the policy. Because for you to now go back, you start all over again. All right? So that's what insurance is all about. It's about pooling resources in order to assist somebody when some incidents that are ugly occur. All right, those are the two. But coming to the big one, something is wrong with the system itself. And what is wrong? Control. There's a body called National Universities Commission. NUC decides what the curriculum is. NUC sets the benchmark. NUC tells you what to teach. But having said that, some smart universities are using what NUC calls minimum benchmark and adding on to it. In other words, you must study ancient history according to NUC. But some smart universities will turn around and say, let us also tell you modern history and how to become independent. They add that to the curriculum. Some universities are doing it, some are not doing it. Challenge is when NUC, the owners, the controllers of the system, show up, what they do during what they call accreditation. In other words, coming in to say, University A, are you doing what we told you to do? Do you have the right number of lecturers? Do you have the right classroom? Are you teaching what you are meant to teach? And if you don't satisfy those very basic things, your program may be denied. And so some universities stay behind, use the minimum benchmark provided by NUC, and then churn out students, or graduates rather, into the marketplace. Unfortunately, NUC does not listen to the marketplace. Don't listen to the manufacturing companies. Don't listen to service providers. All they brought from 1945 is what they wanted to continue with. But that is changing now. That is changing. Because the Committee of Vice Chancellors are protesting. Allow us the latitude to develop what we know would be good for our graduates. And then at the Faculty of Business, what we are trying to do is, as much as possible, bring in those that are already in business practice. This model we bring at the MBA level. Hopefully, gradually, we'll bring it down to the undergraduates. So let us interact more with those already in business in order to understand how they do it and what the business world requires now. So we can make inputs. So we can make inputs into the development of the curriculum. That is what is happening. So going back to your question directly, the answer is that challenge arose from the control exerted by NUC.
Prof, maybe you can also chime in there on the private school, public school.
Public schools,
With
yeah.
NUC still control both everywhere.
Yeah, the NUC, National University Commission, as I said, everywhere they have their regulators. And as Professor Moran has very well laid out, they're not quite as flexible as we, with the experience we have, should be. The purpose of education is not static. In other words, it doesn't end today. The world changes every day. And the need for education to change is driven by changes in the world. In the business school, businesses come up with new technology, new partnership, new trading partners. Some countries fail. Most of you who were in business used to do business with European countries, Spain, Italy, and they used to have different currency. All of a sudden, they changed the whole model. It's one currency, euro, and then British pound, and some few. So what we have been trying to do in the public sector with NUC is to let them understand that need. But this stuff is gradual. It's a very slow ship. It moves very slowly. It's a huge bureaucracy. Now, what is the difference between that and the private sector? Again, Professor Ward has laid the foundation. In the private sector, they follow the same model in this country, American University. But we, the private sector, allow us to add to it. That is minimum. They allow us and say, okay, tell us what we can add to this minimum so that it makes our student competitive in the marketplace. Now, as I said, this is a great university. When you live here, we don't expect you to work for the great state of Akwa Ibom. We expect you to work internationally anywhere. So our drive is to incorporate that. However, even you, the students, we have problem too convincing you because maybe it will take you 4 years to finish your degree program. You're struggling financially. If we tell you we want to give you additional material, but it will take you 4.5 years, most of you will protest. Because our problem is we don't know what to take out to bring in a new one. Now, the real model should be when we take out something, we bring in a better one. So you still remain within the 4 years. But given that to take out anything means to go into NUC and arguing it will take 2-3 years, sometimes we can change the curriculum to the best of our ability, the content of a course, of a syllabus, so that we grab it. Sometimes we're not able to do it. Let's take the case of insurance. Today, most of you have had the problem with foreign currency. Buying 300 naira per dollar. Now, they said there's something else that most of you probably try to figure out. We have a swap agreement with China. That is something that I know is only my own students, Professor Morgan can attest to that I taught investment will understand what it means. It's not in any of our school curriculum. In fact, I have a problem thinking the guys who followed my president to China even understood what it meant. Yes. But that is a case that we need to change our curriculum so that currency swap is in what they call derivatives.
Yeah, it's a derivative.
Derivatives is part of insurance. Yes. Insurance is the part. So it's saying that we will do something in case our currency depreciates, we don't lose. Because if I send my child to school in UK, they quote the amount 10,000 British pounds per year. And I figure maybe 500 or 400 naira per pound. That's what I plan to pay for the next 4 years. All of a sudden, it becomes 600 naira per pound. I'm in trouble. My salary has not changed. Yeah. How can we manage it? How can we set an agreement so that I will still be paying 400 naira per pound when it's 600? It goes within the insurance. You're insuring your own expenses. That is the kind of stuff that we are trying to make sure that we give our students. Let me tell you the truth. I'm not so caught up with this private and public. As long as we are concerned, both universities are educating Nigerians. Whether it's private, we should all educate them at the same level. Lastly, there's a little networking stuff going on. He was in the same school with me, the University of Pennsylvania.
Now that one is great.
So, as alums, when they leave, the people in the Wharton School, the business school, control a section of the market called Wall Street. Most of them are there. So when I go to look for a job in Wall Street, very likely I will run into one of them who who graduated from there. And they will be sympathetic to a certain extent to my application, not because I'm worthy, because they believe in the curriculum. So some way we have not been able to really solidify our network. We in the School of Business, for example, I believe in the entire university, are trying to make sure that we bring the old students or the alums back so that they could also be part of those who are here. And we will strengthen that market relationship. So please, I would not want us to go with the impression that private schools are better than public schools. No. It's how we manage, as you guys have identified, the curriculum. However, decisions in private school are sometimes much faster than decisions in public school. The bureaucracy slows things up.
This one is me, because I'm sitting down here struggling. I'm a farmer in the village, Borokara, and I want to send my child to school, and I want him to be the insurance that you talk about. Which school do I send him to? A private school or a public school? If I want to send my child to university.
To study insurance.
To study anything and come back, no, to insure me, so that you come back, he will get a job, he will become employable. Do I send him to a private school today, or do I send him to a public school? That's my first question. The second one is, why didn't we, or do we have flexibility? Because I know when you are in the university in the US, sorry if we are still going back to compare, but that's what I know. I was in that system. You have choices. So you can design your own curriculum more or less. The classes, even though we might be on the same class, the courses you pick, apart from the required courses, the minimum required courses, I can pick my own curriculum. This is what I want to do, and I'm picking the courses that would make me employable in an area that I choose. Is that in the Nigerian system? If you can just answer those two questions for me.
Dr. Udo, begin the process of sending your child to school by allowing your child to be part of it. I'll tell you a quick story about my niece. She was one of the best in her elementary school. The days of common entrance examination, she took the exam in Lagos and came first in Nigeria. She was sent to a school called the Gifted Children's School at Babalada. I think it's in the federal capital. She came out of that school tops 2. But the father felt she was good all round. Good in English, physics, mathematics, everything. And said, yeah, now I have a doctor in the house.
Must be a doctor.
Yes, went, paid for JAM forms, completed the JAM forms, and simply allowed her to sign it. She signed it. Obedient child. Took the JAM exam, scored a little over 300. Chose University of Port Harcourt by the father. Aptitude test, let me obey my father. Went to Port Harcourt, trashed their papers. Came back, first name on the admission list at the University of Port Harcourt for medicine. All right, it's time for us to go to Port Harcourt and pay for the acceptance fee, so you can get to understand, see the university environment. And guess what she did? She said, "Dad, I'm not coming." What do you mean? Yeah. I don't want to go to University of Port Harcourt.
Or to do medicine.
I don't. Really? Well, being in the system, it happened in New York here. The father called me. Where are you? I'm home. Where is she? She's home. All right, I'm coming over. Went over to his house. I said, what's going on? See, I've gotten this. She's gotten the admission. All right. Young lady, you and I are going to have a meeting right here. Father, you'll be here, but you won't be part of it. You'll just be a listener. Observer. Make no contributions whatsoever. So, what do you really want to do? She said, Uncle, I'd rather study mathematics or physics. And the father fell off from the chair. What will you do with mathematics or physics? What nonsense. You could have studied medicine or pharmacy. So that when you graduate, that's our thinking, isn't it? When you graduate, you can set up a medical facility or a pharmacy. She just sat there calmly and said, no, I don't want that. Really? So I said to my cousin, I said, keep quiet. Here, you were just an observer. But out of respect for you as my senior, I kept quiet. But henceforth, say nothing. Then I took them through a man that invented a theory called GAGUT, God Almighty Grand Universal Theorem. It's a Nigerian that lives in the United States of America. They've tried to give him the Nobel Peace Prize 4 times. Each time the Americans would say, you must accept it as an American. And the man would say, no, I am a Nigerian American. I will accept it as a Nigerian. And each time he says so, they stop him. 2005 or thereabouts, he came to Nigeria to address the NUC, some seminar, some workshop for all the universities. And I was fortunate to be part of my university team to NUC. At the National Convention Center, I saw something I had never seen before. This man, first to come to Nigeria, Obasanjo, the president, had to give George Walker Bush, the president, a written guarantee that he would be safe. Number 2, he came with a CIA agent. Number 3, an NIA agent from Nigeria had to accompany me everywhere he went to. But wait for this. The man has to drink water. They pull the water out of the bottle, open it, pour it in the glass. Who drinks the water first? The NIA guy from Nigeria. So if he dies first. Then the CIA guy drinks the water. Then the man takes it. I said, wait a minute. This man is a Nigerian. The man had a PhD in mathematics. So having said that to my cousin, he just sat down there and I said, oh. Then I told him about somebody, that young man is from Benue State. But there's some other person from Akwa Ibom who studied physics at Howard University.
That's my school.
Really? Great. I have a great affiliation with Howard. Now, Ephraim Fonekbo finished physics, studied physics at Howard, and went to work for NASA. He grew fast in NASA. And a friend called him and said, if you go past that position and move to the next level, you will never be allowed to come back to Nigeria. To come to Nigeria, somebody must accompany you. And whatever you see, you must first interpret it to the American before you tell your people. Why did they do that? So you don't sell American secrets to Nigeria. Ephraim said, what the hell? My parents are still there. What am I doing in that kind of business? He left NASA and went to this school in Florida. He's still there. I told this story about these 2 people, one physics and one mathematics, to my cousin. And he said, bro, I give up. So what do you want? I said, mathematics. Happily, she came to the same great University of Uyo. That was our choice. Not because I was there.
Not Port Harcourt, not Howard.
No.
Not Howard, not
no. University of Uyo. She missed the first class by a whisker. 4.48.
Wow. Just to 0.02.
0.02. And then I was so upset with the department. So I took it up to Senate. And Senate said, yes, you've done well. You speak well in public. You made a good presentation. But this problem ought to have been fixed at the department. But for now, she is a 2-1. And then the beauty of it, a great 2-1 would always give you a job in a university. I don't care where it is. Yeah. So I asked her to apply to join the faculty. I am pleased to let you know, sir, that the young woman just completed a master's degree in mathematics from the University of Ibadan. Having completed her engagement in the University of Uyo as a graduate assistant, she was sponsored by the University of Uyo to Ibadan cross-fertilization. Because you might ask me, why didn't she stay on at the University of Uyo for the master's? She's got to go out and also find out what's going on. She's back with a master's degree in mathematics. That's to answer your question directly. Involve your child in the development. Allow your child to be part of the process. And if the lot falls on the University of Uyo, because we are one of only 5 universities in Nigeria that offer insurance program. And I am very proud to say I brought insurance to the University of Uyo.
Insurance, they are mostly mathematically driven.
That's right. So that's the way it is. And did you ask a second question?
Yes.
That was
the choice. Student having choice to fix what choice, what courses. They pick.
We've just answered that. Professor Okpong made it very clear. Be it in a private or public university, NUC does the regulation. And you only have a small window.
Your final year.
For the undergraduate, you have 4 years and certain number of credit hours. You can't take less than 18 credit hours and you can't take more than 24. And so that allows room for you to either choose to stay in, since you're allowed 6 years for a 4-year course. I have not seen a student yet that says, I have no carryover, I have not failed anything, but can you add a few more courses? No, I haven't seen that yet.
But actually, my question was more, if the minimum per year is 18.
Yes.
Can't you choose what you take to make the 18?
No, the choice, there are what they call, once you have the required courses, they have the mandatory GST courses,
yes,
and then you have the third component, which allows you to choose between one or the other. But again, it's a very narrow window.
Yeah, and to add to that, the answer to that is yes, we can do it. In the sense that you take the GST, which is the General Education Requirement Equivalent, you take the required courses, faculty, and the required courses of the department, and then you have electives.
Yes.
Now, usually that's where we can play with the electives, which is very narrow here. However, we think, and we've been working with this even when he was a dean, that let's say a student comes and says, I want to study insurance, but it has a strong flair for accounting. Yeah. So he can maybe start a business, insurance business, and understand accounting. And we figure we can't give him 2 degrees, it will take him too long. But we can prepare a minor. And let's assume the minor will take a minor, meaning you take maybe about 6 courses in accounting, which should allow you to go and take the professional accounting exam and comfortably pass it. And that might mean 1 extra semester, 4 years plus 1 extra semester. A typical US student is very happy to do it. A typical Nigerian student, because we've not, brainwashed them enough, say no, I don't want that. What we got in 4 years with and go and do National Youth Service Corps. But in the long run, it is a better option that you spend that 1 additional semester
to make yourself employable.
Yeah, and make yourself much employable, because now you can go to insurance, it's saturated, you go to accounting, and they'll absorb you. And most people in the businesses are looking for someone with more than 1 expertise. If you have a good marketing IQ and you are a civil engineer, you will not only be employed very quick, you have a minor in marketing, but you will rise very quick because you could sell the product very well in the market. So as students, we do encourage you to pay attention to your advisors' recommendations. Sometimes it might mean spending a little time longer, but in the long run, it pays.
Do you want to see beyond your vision? Do you want to hear what other people think about leadership? Do you need a reshaping of your mindset and mentorship? Then tune in to the Podium of Leadership, the POL with Victor Udo, showing on AKBC Channel 45 every Monday by 12:30 p.m. and on NTA Channel 12 Uyo every Thursday by 10 p.m. Tune to the POL on Planet FM on Wednesdays by 3 p.m. and on AKBC Radio on Saturdays by 1:30 p.m. You can be a guest on this program. You can also advertise your product, goods and services, or sponsor the program by calling our office line 0902 300 7299. That is 0902 300 7299. Visit our website on www.thepol.com.ng. Like our page on facebook.com/The Podium of Leadership, or follow us on our Twitter handle at The Pol with Victor. The Podium of Leadership do show. Join us.
On the issue of which school do I go, private or public, you say get your child involved in that decision. Very good. On the selectivity, my takeaway for you guys is if it means taking one more semester to make yourself more employable, it's better. It's better you take one more semester and get a job in 1 year than to lose that one semester and 5 years you're still looking for a job. And someone say, what does this have to do with establishing and sustaining businesses? It's making ourselves employable. Because the government is talking about industrialization, and it will come. But guess where we will go to take people?
China.
No, the Chinese, they are actually bringing. Okay. And I said it in this program that the people that are bringing from Chinese, some of them are prisoners. And you think I'm joking. It's the people that they do not use, that are unemployable in America, send them to Africa. So make yourself employable, and when they come, and I don't know if I've shared it here before, but I used to work in Sunshine Batteries. Maybe I've shared it, maybe the people on the radio did not hear. I used to work in Sunshine Batteries, and there was this German guy we went to fix a generator that had spoiled, and he didn't know what to do. That time I only had OND. I knew what to do, and I fixed it. The guy offered me money not to tell anybody that I was the one who did it. I was employable. Yes. So make yourself employable. That's corruption. So this corruption thing, we didn't start it. It's not even in our language. All right, young lady, ask your question.
Thank you, Doctor. I feel very privileged to sit under the tutelage of the two profs.
Yeah. That's what Podium of Leadership does for you.
My question goes this way. This whole insurance thing, is it a garbage in, garbage out, something like at the end of paying your premium, if you eventually incur a loss, for example, you've been able to give a premium of 350,000 or 500. Now, do you get the same out if you incur a loss? And then the second is, if someone like me, still an undergraduate in final year, have a business plan, and then this plan for this business to thrive, I have to be able to influence the policy of the government. How do I go about it? Thank you.
Prof. I'm Prof.
Maybe for insurance, let me just take a quick short answer to that. Let's say you buy an insurance for your business. I'm going to try to steer us back to business development. You start a business and you're selling clothing. So you buy a property insurance to cover your inventory in case of fire. And let's say you value your inventory to be 5 million naira. Okay. So you buy an insurance to cover 5 million naira. The premium per month could be 1,000 naira, 500 naira, whatever. It's driven by the what you can claim if there's fire. If you pay the premium for just 1 month and there's a fire, God forbid, you will be given 5 million naira. If you pay the premium for 10 years and you skip paying it for 2 months, you were not covered for those 2 months because you didn't pay the premium. And there's fire, you will get nothing. It's risk.
That's right.
It's continuity and consolidation.
Yes.
Because if you don't continue, you lose.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we really have to continue. But my producer will not let me even sit down. He thinks we are running out of time. So I think what we got to do is continue from this particular question. So for those of you who have been listening to us on the TV, on the radio, it's been great. And I hope you will do something with it. We've been talking about establishing, developing, and sustaining business culture. I think the one that really came out from this session is making yourself, those of you, the young ones, or the parents, make yourself employable. And to make yourself employable is to do what is in your heart. Don't push your child to do what they do not want to do. Like a very good example of Odwak, you would have sent her to a medical school and she would have stayed there, come back, and still want to do mathematics. Yes. We find kids like that because that's what they want to do. But if they're doing what they want to do, they excel. And before the evening school, the school is looking for them. Even though they are from the great University of Uyo, they're not unemployable because they did what they want. Yes. So if you want that toga to be lifted from you, not being employable, is what you do. And when we have people that are employable, I mean, that's one of the things. I was in the US for a GE conference. That's when you go to establish things. Are they going to find employable people? Employable people from the prof. It's not school-based. It's not whether it is private sector, a private school or public school. It's the curriculum. And if you cannot take something else today, take this. You might want to stay the extra one semester. And I can understand people are afraid if I take that one semester, it might become 2 years if there's a strike. I can understand, but it's all about risk management. And that's why you have gurus in insurance and risk management and prop. So we're going to stop here and we'll continue from that question that you asked. We're going to continue that in the next program. Once again, thank you very much for listening, and we hope you are going to use this to make sure Akwa Ibom State have the best business culture in the entire world. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.
It's all about. Oh.